Hello, everybody. I just wanted to get out a quick welcome to week 5 of the blog video post for Today You Can. I hope everyone enjoys it and finds it informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.
In week 5, we talked about being successful by utilizing highly effective habits you need to know, which included habit 3, putting first things first, habit 4, thinking win-win, and habit 5, seeking to understand and then to be understood. In the third habit, Covey encourages us to put first things first. This means that we consider the goals, values, and principles we recognize in habit 2 and make an effort to make them a priority in life. This will not always be easy, but it is important that we remain disciplined and act according to our principles and values rather than our urges, desires, and impulses. Covey believes that all activities can be categorized into 2 areas, urgent and not urgent. He also separates activities in the categories of important and not important. Covey believes that our time can be best spent acting on things that are important and not urgent. When we are focusing on urgent matters or spending time doing things that are not important, we neglect the important, non-urgent things in our lives. Implementing this habit into our daily lives is very important in our recovery. When we focus on crises, it is easy to forget about our goals and values in life. It is at this time that relapse becomes very dangerous. If we are always dealing with things that are not related to our goals and values, we can lose sight of them, and relapse becomes dangerous. Having fun and getting away is important at times, but it's also important to make sure that we are not neglecting our goals and values, because if we begin to neglect those things, relapse becomes very dangerous. We need to remember to put first things first and avoid potential relapse. The next habit Covey introduces us to deals with the concept of thinking win-win. He explains that optimal interdependent relationships are founded on win-win situations where each party is satisfied and benefits from the interaction. Covey goes on to explain that there are 6 ways in which humans tend to interact. The first is considered win-win, where both parties benefit and are satisfied with the interaction. Both parties win in this strategy of interaction. The second is considered win-lose, where individuals or entities use what they can in order to get what they want. Only one party benefits from this interaction. The third is considered lose-win, where individuals are quick to give up what they want for the happiness of others. They are willing to take the loss so that others win in situations. The fourth is considered lose-lose, where the result will be neither party is willing to compromise or give up what they want in an interaction. In this interaction, both parties lose. The fifth is considered win, where individuals who utilize this interaction strategy don't care whether or not the other party wins or loses. The only thing that matters is that they get what they want in the interaction. The sixth and final strategy is considered win-win or no deal, where parties that utilize this interaction strategy agree that if the interaction is not beneficial to both parties, no deal will be made. In interdependent relationship building, the best interaction strategy to utilize is win-win strategy. Although you may be happy with a win in the win or win-lose situations, the result will negatively impact your relationship with the other individual going forward. It might be easy just to give up what you want for another person to get what they want. This sounds nice in the short term, but if you continue to do this, you will likely become resentful and the relationship will be negatively impacted in the long term. Lose-lose interactions should be avoided as well. Instead, if you feel as though a win-win situation cannot be reached, explain this to the other party and be willing to agree to no deal. Consideration and courage should be incorporated when integrating win-win interactions into our lives. These types of integrations typically take both consideration and courage to be utilized correctly. In other types of interactions, however, consideration, courage, or both are often missing. This habit is important to incorporate into our recovery for a variety of reasons. As you move forward in your recovery, you will need to build strong relationships with people you can count on and trust. In order to build these types of relationships, you will have to be willing to do the work that it takes to ensure that each person is satisfied in your interactions and that you are also benefiting from your interactions. If you are unable to build these types of relationships, it is my experience that negative relationships can be highly triggering. Having a good support system is extremely important in recovery, and thinking win-win will help you build the support you need. For us to increase our ability to develop win-win situations and improve our ability to interact with others, Covey introduces us to the habit of seeking first to understand, then to be understood. He explains that we should seek to understand people and their perspectives through empathetic listening. He goes on to explain this with an example. Let's say you go to an optometrist and tell him that you've been having trouble seeing clearly, and he takes off his glasses and hands them to you and says, "Here, try these. They've been working for me for years." You put them on, but they only make the problem worse. What are the chances you'll go back to that optometrist? Covey believes that we are doing that very thing the optometrist does in this example when we do not seek to understand. Essentially, we are prescribing a solution before even diagnosing the problem. Rather than doing this, he states that we should practice empathetic listening and learn to listen with the intent to understand rather than the intent to reply. Learning to do this effectively involves great awareness. After all, Covey points out that communication experts estimate 60% of human communication is represented by body language, sounds represent 30%, and words represent only 10%. After we have done our best to understand, it is equally important that we do our best to be understood clearly and concisely. After an individual feels as though they were heard and understood, they will likely be more willing to understand your position. It is at this point that a win-win situation becomes extremely attainable. Learning to communicate effectively is an essential skill to develop in recovery. By first seeking to understand and then to be understood, we increase our ability to do so substantially.